Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am your refined mental of woman, Melissa J. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And if you want a further connection about any topics that I may speak about, or if you have a question that you just need answered, or a situation that you need a solution to, you can email me at melissaj328 at gmail.com. So, jumping right into this topic, I wanted to speak about is narcissism, the epidemic of narcissism. And it's very, 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 very um, contagious in these last days and time. I was a victim of narcissism, and I know a lot of other people that are, and maybe they just are not aware of it because I was not aware of it. My first narcissism case was when, as me growing up as a child, my mother, and I love her, but I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna be real because this is my channel, and my mother's a narcissist, and she he would cause a lot of confusion with me as a child. I am a older child of three other siblings that I have. My mother, I know she loved me, but I had to realize what she was doing, and I had to come within who I was as a child. She wasn't a severe like narcissists, like how mostly in these last days and time it's a lot of more males that are narcissists rather than females. Okay, and I'll get into that as we further go along. But she that was my first case. My mother was and is still a narcissist, and this is why she's by herself today. I mean, I call to check on her, but I leave my words very direct. I don't have anger towards her, although she wants that, because narcissistic people, that's how they feed. They feed off of your emotional energy to allow themselves to feel like something when they're really not. Okay. So I didn't realize it at the time that my mother was a narcissist, and this was a while ago. I'm not gonna really go into my age or nothing like that, but in a way, and it sounds kind of crazy, I am proud that I was able to go through that with my mother, because now, along my self-love journey, it has really allowed me to be very wise of my choices and the things I deal with, even in past relationships I have been in with a narcissist and things like that. And I know a lot of women like me who want to refine their mind. Notice, when I do come in and I speak on my channel, I always say refine mental of a woman, because I have refined my mind away from things that literally tainted my mind from my actual self of who I am, and what I was what I come here for and what I come here to do. I always knew in back of my head that it was more to what people that try to damage me and hurt me for no reason, and genuinely I was someone that loved those people. But when you're dealing with people that basically only have a body, they don't have a vessel, meaning like a soul, and they're not connected to anything else, which what other people like to say, the enlightenment or spirit or something like that. They utilize other people's energy to feed off of, so they can have some type of um I don't know, the for the lack of a better word, some type of up to, whatever energy. We're just gonna say that. And when I was young, I really wasn't aware of that. I knew it was like, what is my mom's problem? Like, literally, she really has a problem. I thought it was because, she couldn't pay bills. And that probably was the, reason. Um, it could have been my dad, maybe, but my dad is a very great man. So he's not, um, he wasn't mean towards my mother. And I didn't see, him do anything bad to my mother, although they didn't stay together. Um, but one thing about my mom, she never let us, nobody abuse us, things like that. She just basically took care of us and did a very, very good job. But she was mean. She still is, and that's just how it was. And I just as a child, I was like, I didn't think my mother liked me, but she took very good care of us, and that's why I didn't realize it, because a narcissist, they know what you need, you know, and that's how they get you to, trust them or whatnot. And as I know now as an adult, but I didn't know as a child, that my mother knew that me and my sisters needed her. And, to be honest, I really was by myself in this whole thing, because my sister actually adopted that same mentality that my mother has. And she, still has it to this day. I was practically the only one out of my three siblings that I felt alone. I felt, bad in some cases. I tried to do everything I could as the first and older child, but nothing did, nothing satisfied my mother, although I was genuine about it. And that's all I thought about, when I tried to make something of my life and go to college and, do a lot of things that I knew that I was going to do to help my family in the future, because I seen the struggles of my mother. Excuse me. I took steps into wanting to take care of my family futuristically, because I was like, oh, well, I don't want my mother have to go through these things. And but every time I would try to elevate myself, my mother would smack me down, like it was like I was not physically, but mentally she would tear me down, and I believed her, and unfortunately, it's really hard to break someone like me, because I can see beyond this. And now, in these last days and time, I see why I was like that as a child. Although I just sit back and I observe and I watch, and I just let her do what she did, because I knew I had to respect her. However, as I became much more, mature in my age, I got encounters with guys that were narcissists. I dealt with a few guys that were like that. I didn't have a lot of guys I would date, but it was a handful. But this last time really helped me realize what I was really dealing with. And you know what? Because I forgive, I just want to say thank you. I mean, it sounds weird, it sounds crazy, but I say thank you, because it allowed me to really get to know myself. It allowed me to be able to be aware of what I was dealing with, because at the time I didn't know. And I told myself, you know what? Now it's time to come out, because right now in these last days and time, narcissism is an epidemic. People are doing it, and it's like there is no happiness on this planet anymore. It's like everybody is dark, everybody is dingy, everybody is just so hollowed out. And society really, I'm going to tell you something, is the biggest narc on the planet. okay, beyond this world, okay, the biggest narc on the planet. And a lot of it has to do with because people will feed into stories that the media puts out to get people to not have any hope, not have any forwardness or life in themselves, and they're just walking around as bodies like zombies, literally. They do basic instinctive things and that's it. They don't have a life. They sit here and they manipulate people, and society really is the leader of all of that, and they actually do it because they want control. However, they don't have control because everybody, like I say, is chosen. You just have to find yourself, and when you find yourself, that's when you could take control of your own life, and that's what I did. That's why I talk about that Rule 13 that sits on top, because we are those councils that made it out of this darkness of the United States and even around the whole world. And we became those self-made persons, but we was always chosen in life, even before birth. I know you hear a lot of people talk about that, but you got to be very careful because there is a lot of false prophets out here. Lots of them. I mean, it's so tedious now, and the game of life has become so tedious. You don't know who is who. That's why people don't trust anyone no more, because you got people out here who are lifeless and they don't have nowhere to go but to be a narcissist or a manipulator, because they was be failed as a child. They was be failed within life, and they wasn't strong enough to be able to make it out of that fire of hell that tried to burn you, okay, and fry your brain to where you can't think on your own, to where you're being basically manipulated. And different entities, which as I talked about in my other videos, everything is out here that has literally taken over your body and now controls you as they're utilizing their vessel or that spiritual entity and take your soul. Okay, I was looking on Google the other day, and I want to pull up something about traits of a narcissist, because at first I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing about this or whatnot. So it says that I'm reading from my phone. It says that they have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. That's basically narcissists. They overindulge in a sense of importance when they really not shit. Okay? And they try to make you feel that you're not shit, although they know that you're better than them. Okay? And I really, really hate to say that, but because we all can learn from each other, you know what I mean? Especially if everybody is chosen, but that's what 2020 is about. You have to find that self, that match, that twin. Self-love is powerful. I talk about that all the time. It's not being selfish. It's not being boastful. It's not being competing, not comparing. But people can learn from other people. But these kind of people, they over-exaggerate the sense of the self-importance of who they really are. Okay? They have a sense of entitlement and require consistent, excessive admiration. What does that mean? It means that when I was saying that they have a body, but they don't have a soul nor even connected to the highest continuous spirit within them. So it's like like you can't never satisfy these people. Like I was saying earlier, as an older child, I was trying to do everything in my power what my mother told me to do, because she had to work several jobs to take care of me and my brothers and sisters. But everything that I was doing, I'm very sufficient at the things that I do, was not good enough for her. And I just kept going. I think, you know what? That's why I'm the way I am now. It's like, I do things genuinely with all my heart, with all my mind, with all my body and soul, all in one alignment to genuinely help the next person. But when I see that they don't appreciate that, then I disattach myself and do, because I know I put my all in it. And that's one thing I can say to my mother, thank you, if you ever see this video, that you taught me, because it helped me in my long, my journey to deal with what I dealt with when I had ran into males. I didn't say men that were narcissistic too. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really wasn't aware of narcissism until maybe 2 years ago. I didn't know the proper term for it, but there is that. And I really haven't done a lot of research on it, but I am a victim of narcissism. Okay. Let's see. I lost that. But these people, you can't satisfy them with anything, because they are very without feeling. They get a high off getting you upset. They get a high off getting you mad, getting you high off thinking that you're not, good enough. That's why I always speak about that self-love is powerful. And it actually is powerful, because you be able to overpower these people. And when they see that they can't utilize you, they go to their next victim. And it's a lot of victims out here. And I'm speaking about it now, because I know people are going to come across this video and they're going to need help, to seek out help to get themselves out of the situation of them being with a narcissist, or have had been with a narcissist. Some of you are married to narcissists. Some of you are probably narcissists yourself. I don't know, but it's a big epidemic, and it's not a great thing to go through. However, it can damage a person, and it really can take a hold of people, especially if you're weak-minded. And we have a lot of weak-minded people here, especially with this generation that is that just kind of passed over this 20 years. The ones that are coming now, like my children, my children's generation, I'm not just saying my children, but my children's generation, literally, they're going to be the ones. We're basically people that are self-made persons like I am. They're setting the stage for that generation, so they can rise up too, instead of be raised and downloaded by society and what they want to feed them. You see, it says also here that they expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. Sound familiar? Yeah. They exaggerate achievements and talents. Yeah. A lot of that is going on on the social media too, with these narcissists making like they are bigger than really what it is to be seen. A lot of that really is smoke and mirrors. But that's why I always say, focus on yourself. Stop paying attention to the shit that's out here that does not pertain to you. Okay? Especially you women that are in relationships with narcissism. You know that he showed you red flags when you start fucking with him from the beginning. He gassed you up, got you all hyped up like you were just over the top. And I'm not saying that you are not, all of that. But however, you should have had boundaries from the beginning to know that something just wasn't sitting right with you. And now you're dealing with a situation that you probably not going to be able to get out of, because you probably had some attachment because you didn't have children with people like this. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you feel that first thought that something could be wrong, it's just too good to be true with a dude, or even if it's a female that is a narcissist, because that is rising too. And a lot of you, I'm going to have a video about that. I'm going to call it, they Jezebels, okay? That's what they was talking about in, I think it was Proverbs. I don't really know. I read the Bible a couple times. Yeah, I read the Bible a couple times, so I don't know it by heart. But I know it was somewhere in Proverbs. I'm going to quote that that verse where it was at. But when it was talking about Elijah and how she did what she did to him. Okay? But, You knew that it was red flags and shit was just too good to be true when you got with the person. And I'm not coming down on you, but I'm just letting you know, like, for futuristic, even within your children, especially y'all coming to these daughters, y'all have these daughters and these sons, y'all gonna have to really crunch down and really focus and get their attention to their focus of what their life and what they purposely come here to do. Because people didn't come here just to get in a relationship. They didn't come here for that. You came here for a purpose and a reason. And your purpose and a reason was come out here to service the world, to be sourceful to the connection of the direction of your focus further, to rise, not to be raised by society. And see, because people have been raised by society, they have adopted these contaminations within their soul, which now makes them lifeless because they don't have a soul, and they out here contaminating and tainting others. And the epidemic of narcissism just keeps rising. Well, yeah, rising, okay, because it has been raised, okay. And when I say rise, I mean 6 and below, okay. I don't mean 9 and up high, okay. There's a difference, and I'll speak about that probably in one of my other future videos that I'm gonna make. But I just wanted to come here and speak about that. I am a victim of narcissism. I have been dealing with that since I was a child. I didn't recognize for what it was because my mother is a narc. I have dealt with relationships that they were narcissists, and I label them. Now I know that they're narcs. So if you are in a relationship, or you are a child and you are dealing with parents that are narcissism, you know, you can't email me and I'll answer your questions, or so you can come up with a solution from your situation to direct you and rise you up, because that is a hard thing to get out of and deal with people who are like that. They will make you just feel like you're not shit. And to be honest, all that is just really smoke and mirrors, because they know they're not shit. And to be honest, a lot of us was born to these narcissists because really they're your parents, but really they're not your parents. You just had to come here on this realm to fulfill your purpose. And a lot of you, because life, this game of life that is now here in these last days, has just got more tedious. You don't know who's who. So now everybody is in confusion, which is, they say, what Satan has done. Okay, Satan, that energy, that negative, dirty energy, has tainted a lot of people and have made them very hollow bodies for any type of entity or vessel to, you know, seat themselves in that body. And there you go, possessed, because you are now a possession of, say, 10. Okay, be very mindful of these numbers that people speak about. Okay, because if you go through the number 1 through 10 and you got people saying a certain number that sounds close to, say, 10, be watchful, okay? And that's all I'm gonna say. You can email me at melissaj328@gmail.com. Another thing is, I'm gonna put my blog, well, actually, I'm working on it right now, to be honest with you. I've been so busy for December, now into January, and I know I'm probably in my previous other videos I said something about that I'm working on my blog, so I am working on that. So I'll start putting descriptions below so y'all can start reading more into or up to, excuse me, of what I've been speaking about, and probably share on some of your platforms or with some people that may be dealing with certain situations and need a solution to keep them rising and leveling up. Okay, so you all have a beautiful, I'm gonna say, evening, and I'll catch you at my next video. Okay, thank you.